Hello, Anna Sabramowitz here. I want to talk to you about scenario feedback. I think it's a very important point, and I think that a lot of times what happens is because we are either our audience is very new to our topic or we have a lot of information to share, we tend to load the scenario up with a bunch of info instead of trying to leverage the consequences and the feedback a little bit differently. So let me give you a strategy that may work for you. It has certainly worked for me. So one of the reference points I'm going to use here is Broken Coworker, which is a module that I designed with Ryan Martin on bullying. And it was used, it's a demo. It wasn't, we didn't confirm it with other subject matter experts on emotional intelligence. It was simply something we created to create the kinds of learning experiences that we wanted to create as far as scenarios are concerned. And so one of the things that usually happens when you have a scenario is, if it's done right, you have a consequence. So the learner is presented with a question or a problem or a challenge, critical decision they need to make, and they're provided with several options on how to manage that, how to resolve that situation, or what are their next steps. And then what happens is afterwards, after they make their decision, they're presented with the consequences of their actions. A good scenario will give you the consequences, not what you should do next. Just if you were in the real world and you pulled that lever, you see what happens. Nobody comes up and says, whoa, you did the wrong thing, or whoa, you did the right thing. You just pull the lever and see the thing blow up. Boom. So some people might get, freaked out by that a little bit because they'll say, okay, this is so complicated. They're not well versed enough for me to just throw them right into a scenario. It might freak them out a little bit, might discourage them because they won't get the right answer. And I say to that, you can actually add a second layer of consequences to that would be a little bit more instructive and propel them to think about it, gather their information, and then propel them to seek out more answers and actually then lead them into maybe another scenario. So the way we did this in Broken Coworker is you have a situation where you have to deal with a bully. And Sam is the person being bullied. Emma is bullying him. She approaches him with some sort of a difficult situation. He has to decide how he's going to respond to her. Once you make that decision on his behalf, you get to see immediately the consequences of that decision. Eruption, apologies, whatever it is. Now we took it to the next level with the second level of consequences, where afterwards, after that blowout, or after that you experience how Emma reacts, you are then sitting with Sam looking at his internal dialogue, which in a way is not necessarily a way for us to tell the learner how they're supposed to be acting. But what it does is, if the outcome is not positive, then it gives the learner some indication, even if they haven't thought about it, that it's not right. So let me give you an example that's somewhere else. Let's say you are designing sales scenarios for new salespeople, and they are so new, or there's some situations that are so ambiguous or common sense that some people, when they go through the training, don't really realize that they're not the right outcome. They're so new, they don't even know that certain consequences are actually not optimal. So for example, if a customer walks in through the door and I'm training to be a salesperson and I say, oh, hi, can I help you today? And they say no, and they walk off, I may not know that that's not the right approach. Even if the customer walks away really happy saying, thanks for saying hi at the door. And I'm like, oh, great. I didn't realize that actually I'm supposed to engage them. I'm not supposed to give up. I'm supposed to engage them again, or I'm supposed to ask them a different question. So that consequence is not sufficient. It's simply the outcome. What I can do with the learner for the next step especially in the very beginning, is to guide them a little bit by going into the mindset of that person that I'm trying to be in the scenario. So I could say something like, well, that's the third customer today that just walked off and they actually never talked to me again. I'm not going to be able to meet my sales quota. So you're not telling them wrong approach, whatever it is, but what you are doing is you're modeling the kinds of thinking and you're giving them a hint, maybe a little more than a hint, that this is not optimal without saying, wrong, you didn't do that right, try again. So what you're asking them to do is to draw their own conclusions and reflect on the consequences in a different way from the perspective of somebody who knows maybe a little bit better than them or who's aware of the expectations. So check out Broken Coworker, first as a learner, first as a novice, and then go back and deconstruct and see if that sequence of immediate consequences and these internal reflection consequences are helpful, and if that's something that you can apply in your own scenario design. So I hope you found this helpful, and if you have any questions about scenario design, I know you do, come on, shoot them my way, or if there's something that you found that, that you've overcome that was a challenge for you that you want to share it with me so we can spread the word and help the world make better scenarios and have people have more valuable use of their time. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you next time. Oh yes, and don't forget to subscribe. That's going to be a link below, the Broken Coworker link below. All right, take care. Bye. Hey friend, did you find that video useful? If you did, click that subscribe button and visit my site for more instructional design goodies, resources, and training. And I hope to see you next time.